Welcome everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Smac Talk podcast. Today I'm joined by the wonderful, the hilarious, the best dressed man in comedy in Northern Ireland, or maybe the whole of the UK for that fact, Mr. Johnny Bow. Johnny, thanks so much for joining me.
No problem, thank you for having me.
We're going to start off with the big news that's breaking. New show, yourself and Ian, suited and booted, come to the Limelight 2.
Limelight 2 on the 7th of April. Suited and booted. I am obviously suited.
Yeah.
And he is booted.
I have to say, because for anyone that hasn't seen the poster, you're looking as incredibly well as ever. But Ian, a few questions from past. Now, the booted element again at the Gordon section out there. Pretty sure he's wearing a skirt.
Oh, they're cycling shorts, I think.
Oh, they're cycling shorts. I was like, is he wearing a skirt? And then
I think they're his daughter's shorts, actually. It makes it worse.
Yeah, a skirt would have been better, actually.
On the top, I think. I don't know if it's his wife's or he stole it off.
Did he go through a few outfits for that, or was that just the only thing he had left that wasn't needed washed, or how did that come about?
I wasn't there, but for some people who, if you see the poster, it's a parody of a film.
Right, okay.
But I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I'm not a film person.
Because we might, yeah, if we're going to give away tickets, if we're struggling to sell tickets,
you're
we'll probably
gonna
run a competition and be like,
yeah,
what's the film? But some people get it. Like my mum got it, but I don't know what that says.
It does strike me something, but I'm so bad at movies. I did Smitty's podcast, and he has his whole like cinematic sounds show, and he was saying the movies, and I was like, the only soundtrack I like is from like the movie Cars, and he's like, you bastard, you absolute bastard.
I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah, every 3 months I think I go and sit down and watch that movie. Like, it's the only thing I watch. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Great to see that you're out there and you're going to be doing the Limelight show. Like, it's nice to see, fresh faces getting in there and running their own shows. Like, that's obviously well done. What sort of sparked that? What was the idea behind it? Do you feel like you're at a stage now where you're good to go ahead with that, or
no,
just need
really.
something to work towards?
In a way, like it's been a bit of a whirlwind since last year. So, well, to take it further back, so I started in 2012. That was my first.
That was your first ever stand-up?
First ever gig was 2012, and then sort of gigs sporadically. There weren't that many gigs around at that time. Like there's a lot more now than there was. And then sort of gigged on and off for maybe 1-2 years. So not a whole lot, and I was terrible. It was just horrendous. Like, it was just, looking back now, I'm like, if I seen me live, I would probably walk out.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It was that bad. And then sort of towards the end of me being shit, I started sort of writing one-liners and things, and then I had one gig of writing one gig of doing one-liners and went really well. And then I stopped for some reason.
No way. Just decided to quit when you're on top?
Yeah, I think it was lost my nerve and just kind of, because gigs were so few and far between. You were maybe waiting 6 weeks for a gig. You know what it's like. You'd rather have gigs regularly. If you have to wait, you get into your head too much.
Especially, like, I find as well, like, obviously being new, like, if you have a really good gig, you can't wait to get back up. But if you also have a really bad gig, you're like, get me the fuck back up before I, like, go mentally insane overthinking this thing.
Yeah, either way. But then, so, started 2019, gigged fairly regularly throughout 2019, then obviously 2020 hit and that was horrendous. So did like about 2-3 gigs or something.
So how many gigs were saying total up until that point, like until the world ended? Because I think it was quite on off sort of thing.
Oh yeah, like I think I probably did more gigs in 2021 than I did ever.
Holy fuck, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I would have maybe done 15 gigs or something. Like before that, sort of give or take, like probably not much more than that. Whereas started back whenever the world started opening up again, from June till now, I think it was about 26 gigs or something.
Oh my god.
Which is a hell
that's a lot
for me. So that's what, half a year. So I was averaging nearly one a week probably.
Oh my god.
Which is mental.
Yeah, that's class.
But good, like it's good. And then from that, so I was doing, I got some good gigs out. Like I was supporting She and Todd for quite a few gigs. And then the guys on the Limelight sort of spotted me and said, we'd like to put on a show at the Limelight. Like,
oh, they approached you?
Yeah.
That's nice.
They sent me an email. I probably would have got to the stage where I'd be just knocking on the door begging, please give me a gig. But, so they approached me just to say, do you want to put on a gig at the Limelight? And I thought, yeah, 100%. But because of my style, like I'm not going to do one-liners. I'm not going to do a full hour-long show.
No, that's impossible.
About 2 million jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. And then I thought, right, we'll do a split show. And I thought Ian Thompson would be the best person to have alongside me. I
find it quite interesting because I love hearing these stats and stuff like that. I remember the Netflix, like, Netflix has their Netflix is a joke sort of and do all their stand-up specials and whatever. Yeah. The research that's been coming out of that has been saying that half an hour is a sweet spot. After half an hour, a lot of people switch off. And I know that's watching TV and it's different and stuff, but I feel like you might be seeing people lean more so towards that like shorter style, because we all know people's attention spans are getting worse and worse and worse. Like it's awful.
Definitely, like I'm exactly the same though when it comes to things like that. But I did think about doing longer, but now I'm thinking, as I said, because of my style, I did just aim for maybe a half hour every 6 months, that sort of thing, rather than aiming for a whole hour every single time. Because I think I'd get bored of me after an hour.
Yeah, I don't know how like your style, like the one-liner stuff, just blows my mind, because how you remember it during the whole way through. Like I think I remember peeking at your notes one time, and like what you bring on stage, your back pocket, and like, what the fuck is this? It's like may as well be Mandarin to me. It makes no logical sense whatsoever.
It's just it's literally just words, like
word association the whole way through.
So I will literally just write one word down which represents a joke, and hopefully that actually reminds me of what the joke is. And then sort of break down even further, because my memory is terrible.
Yeah.
I know it might be hard to believe whenever you see me and I'm doing maybe like 30, 40 jokes and not having to look at my notes, but that's not normal for me. Like, so I'll literally be in the house going over them, and I'll remember each letter of each one as well. So I'd be like an acronym basically.
Oh, no way.
So we've broken into 3. I don't know what I'm going to do for the big show. Like, so I need like 100 jokes. So maybe to break them into 5 or something. I don't know. But it's quantity over quality.
Yeah, no, 100%. I want to go back to like the very start you mentioned there, Frank. I always find it really interesting why people get into stand-up comedy. So like younger Johnny, what age were you talking about whenever you started stand-up? That first gig?
21, 22 maybe?
Yeah, around a bit. Yeah, pretty much around the same ages when I sort of got on stage for the first time. So yeah, but like what was the thing that made you like, was there like just something you're like, I'm a funny guy, or you quack guy, or you just have this like burning itch in the back of your head?
It was just a lack of self-awareness. Like. I've always been into comedy since I was like no age. Like whenever I was a kid, never was really young. I was always wrestling. That was a big thing.
Yeah,
mad and wrestling was ever younger. Then as I got a wee bit older, I remember watching Lee Evans on TV one night and like pissing myself laughing, like crying with laughter. And get like, what is this? Like, there's just a man on stage talking, and it's hilarious. So then after that, it was like Christmas, birthdays, all I got was comedy DVDs.
Oh really?
So just stand-up DVDs, just like I have loads of them in the house. That's literally all I got. And I didn't even ask for specific ones. I was like, just get me whoever, and I'll watch it. And then got into my 20s and kind of, once I got more confident, I think I just got like just sort of like the fuck it attitude. Like,
that's what everyone said. Everyone just was fuck it, like just get up there and give it a go. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst thing can happen is soul destroying crush. Yeah, just
you could die, and then like then like just cry a shot and sleep for
which has definitely happened. Like
days, weeks, months after.
You can just see the emotional trauma.
Like I have had some horrendous game. My second ever gig was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Why? What happened there?
It was Portaferry. So I had my first gig, which was the Pavilion, like most comedians.
Yeah.
Second gig, because it went well, so I had a good gig. But I had a good gig because half the crowd were my friends.
Yeah, that's what everyone seems to do. Everyone's like, here, everyone come to this thing. Yeah, that helps.
And they're laughing not because I'm funny, but because I'm there.
Yeah.
Just like, there's Johnny on stage. Like, this is ridiculous. So we'll laugh.
I've seen people like brand new to like the pub, like since I've been brand new to the pub and brought loads of friends, and like you could literally get up and say like fucking, you know what, Hitler kind of had a point. They go, yeah, this guy.
That's our friend.
Yeah, we'll support you no matter what. Which is lovely, but at the same time, it does nothing whenever you go into a different environment and none of them's there.
Oh, you learn nothing from those gigs. Yeah. Like you don't, like it's one of those. So I enjoyed it, and then had way too much confidence, and then got booked to this. It was a brand new gig in Portaferry. I don't think they'd ever run it before. Worst setup I've ever seen. So it was literally, they set up a microphone in a bar where people were just out for a drink.
Oh no.
So it wasn't like, there was no announcement or anything. It was literally just like, it was like as if we were out for a pint right now, and someone just, and can you see that lamp on the camera, can you? That's how close we were to people. It was literally
just who just want to go out and enjoy a pint, like.
So they're out for maybe, I don't know, maybe catching up, maybe breaking some horrendous news to their friends. It's like, oh, look at James has left me or something. Yeah, we're going, so do you want to hear about things about my penis? So that was horrendous. Then this guy was just heckling all night and just shouting abuse from the back, like going, you're shit, I'm funnier than you.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I got ridiculously drunk. I dragged him away down, because I did stay down there. I drank about half a bottle of wine way down. Realised how bad the gig was. I wasn't on until about fifth. I think I was fifth on or something. Had about 2 pints, 2 shots tequila.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, it was like proper messy.
Yeah.
And then got up and didn't even do. I don't think I did any of my material. I started chatting to this wee old woman in the front row, brought her up and just had her sitting beside me, put my arm around her and just started chatting.
On a second gig?
Second
That
gig.
is raw confidence.
Oh, that was literally raw lack of self-awareness. That was too much alcohol, that's what that was. And then this big guy just started shouting from the back of the room, and I was like, right, okay, I gotta take him on or whatever.
Oh,
Not physically, because look at me.
Yeah.
He was huge. And I was like, right, okay, Nick, come on, you tell a joke then when he come up on stage. He thought this was his big break.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, yeah, I was the microphone. He starts telling this joke, and it was something, I can't even remember what the joke was, but it was something on the lines of, there was this family of ducks, and the mummy duck died, and I just yelled, "Is it because you ate her?" And that got probably my only laugh of it. And he looked at me as if I just punched one of his kids.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And then he's like, I'm trying to tell a joke, and I was like, so am I, and then he grabbed the microphone.
At first, that's a very good way to prove a point. Like,
yeah, he walked out, and I was convinced he was definitely waiting for me.
oh yeah, you're just like, how do I get out of this place?
Yeah.
And I suppose you weren't driving. Just
No,
live in the back of a taxi and fucking disappear.
No, we were only staying up the road actually, but it was horrendous.
It's interesting, like, because I feel like I'm spoiled rotten, like, because, like, since everything's opened up again, like, the gigs have been booming everywhere I've went. Like, first time I did the Pals, I've said this, like, on the intention, like, there was 10 people there. Now you go and it's, like, pretty much sold out every single week. Give or take, like, the odd week where maybe there's a few tickets left over, but, like, most of the gigs I found myself at are, like, very, very similar. You haven't experienced many of those, like, you walk in and, like, bad setups, and you're like, just that dooming feeling when you walk into the room, you're like, oh no.
That's it, because gigs now, people are there to see comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was like we were pushing comedy on people.
Yes.
Whether they wanted it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll be here and you should come, like, sort of thing. Like, whereas now people are itching to go to, like, a comedy night. Like, you can only see, like, the amount of nights in Belfast that's doing comedy is pretty much one every single night of the week.
Which is so rare. Like, back whenever I first started, there's always been the Empire. But like, the Empire is notoriously, like, it's not, you have to have a good bit of experience before you get on. And there was the PAV, and then you used to get gigs popping up all the time, but they would last about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then gone
That
again.
would be literally it. But the consistency with it now is just, especially for new comedians. Like, people like, how long have you started what?
Basically, you don't count the 2 gigs that were before the pandemic, which whatever, like, it's basically since everything opened up again, and I've had like 8 gigs, and all of them been like very well run, sort of all packed out sort of thing, like, which
is great,
which is class, like, which is all you can ask for, like.
What about yourself though? So you must have had some rugby gigs.
Yeah, there was one in particular. Like, if anyone watches the vlog series I do, I nearly had a mental breakdown in McDonald's after an hour drive to Oma. I was just sitting there eating chicken nuggets, depressed afterwards, being like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I was just traumatized.
Oh, I died home as well, don't worry.
And like, people actually said to me afterwards, that's one of my favourite episodes. Like, you evil bastard. just me distraught, because every episode was sort of like going reasonably well, or like a few blips here and there or whatnot. Like, but whenever it's just like, you just question everything. It's such a sinking feeling. Like, I think I did, was it 5 minutes? It might have been like 7 minutes I did.
Yeah.
And the feeling of just silence, pure silence, when I was speaking, I was like, dear Lord. It was actually, this is how bad it was, everyone sort of came up and watched each other. I was second on, if you don't count the MC, and whenever I came off, all the comics just followed me back to the green room and were like, it's okay. I was just like,
we've got you.
I was just like, there was pizza, the MC brought pizza, and I just sat at the back eating pizza for the rest of the night. Didn't even watch anybody else. I'm like, fucking live it. Like,
crying into the pizza.
Yeah, and the worst part of that night was, it was the first time I'd done that, like, comedy outside of Belfast, where I live in Belfast now, so you can always just, have a few drinks. I was drinking 0% all night. I was like, drinking 0%, eating pizza, not getting any laughs. Like, this might be the worst night of my life.
It's mad though, like, because you do get some gigs, like, I've always heard in the past, it's like, oh, don't blame the crowd, but sometimes they're shit.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they are shit. Like, sometimes you do just get crowds that are not up for it. It's like, why are you here?
That night I felt like it was sort of like, arms folded, sitting back, like, alright, you think you're going to make me laugh? Like, say try. And you're like, what are you doing here? You've come to a comedy night, like, be up for the crack, like, do you know what I mean?
It's weird, because, I completely died home, that was probably one of my worst gigs last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't get it, like, I just did my usual stuff, and it was stuff that I hadn't tried and tested, and had got laughs pretty much everywhere else I'd been, and then, I don't know what it was like I was tempted to do the whole like, is this thing on sort of thing, like because I went up and did like a first. Well, it actually wasn't. That's a good point. So for my first 2 jokes, the microphone wasn't on, but you can still hear me because the room's small.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter too much. I didn't realize it was up to me to turn it back on.
Just on there like, hello, someone fix this.
So I just kept going. They were trying to fix it, but it turns out there was a button on the microphone, but I assumed it was on the other end of the microphone.
Yeah.
Somehow I hit it. I was like, oh no, it's me. And then got into doing the jokes, and it just was, they were not I actually took the piss out of them, and that's such a risky move to do, but because it was so quiet, I just literally went, the energy in here is electrifying.
But that suits your like style of comedy, I think. Like it's just that like whenever you go like all mundane about things, it's just sort of like electrifying.
And that didn't get a laugh. I was like, right, okay, Jesus.
Yeah. The worst part of my night was like I started off, I was like I was sort of listening to how the room was going on, did a wee bit on like, you know, reading the room and stuff like that, and it got a good laugh, and then as soon as I went here, just silence. I was like, God fucking damn it. I think that should have took me 10 minutes. I think I wrapped through it in 7. Do you know, like as soon as I got the vibe, I was like, I didn't have the nerve to just wrap up shop at like 5 minutes ago. I'll just say what I had to say and get the fuck out of there. I'm pretty sure it was like they probably don't understand what I was saying come the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, because it's just saying that much so quick. No pause for laughter, no nothing. Just, I know you're not going to give me what I want here. Let's just wrap this up.
I'm just going to say it, and that's it. Sometimes you have to do that though. And
I have enough tendency. I don't like leaving gigs early because I'm so new. Like I find like the big part when you start out is almost networking with the comedians. Like I find see networking with like other comedians. I find that not more nerve wracking, but just as nerve wracking as getting on stage and talking to a room of strangers. Because realistically, like if you want more gigs, you want to do well, you sort of have to get on well with the people that run them, which is just by chance comedians. Yeah. So it's sort of like you can't really turn it off. If you know what I mean, like you come off stage and you still have to carry like an energy and like sort of be chatty with people, not over the top. Like I would never start trying to make them laugh or like be like
trying bits out on them.
I've heard like people that are new to comedy like, oh, I tried this bit on such and such that has a big name, and like they said it was really good. I was like, you've shot yourself in the foot. But that's just being nice.
Yeah, I guess it's like I would run things by some friend, sort of comedian friends and things, but yeah, if it's as you said, if you're just meeting someone.
Yeah, if you're just like, I've met people before. I goes, I'm going to try this new bit tonight. What do you think of this? And I go, I like that. I don't like that. That's different. Unless you go like, oh hi, my name's Sean. So how about that time? And you like go into that bit and you're like, what's happening here?
Yeah, what is this guy doing?
And you can see like the uncomfort that you're putting like the person under, being like, oh god, fuck's sake, because I don't imagine how many times you hear that. Like, it's awful.
I know, that's one thing. I'm sure you must have got 100 of times since you started doing it, but it's whenever you're out and you're like, oh, someone will tell us a joke, you're a comedian. Yeah. Like even at Christmas, whenever I was at home with the family for Christmas, like, oh, Johnny, tell us a joke. Like,
no. I feel like your family wouldn't appreciate your sense of humour, maybe.
No, probably.
Would that be the way you tell jokes? Would that be like your sense of humour just around people, or is that like like not a stage thing? Do you know what I mean? Like is that like a Johnny Bo character thing?
It's a bit of both. Like the Johnny Bo comedian is definitely slightly darker than Johnny Bo, who hangs out with his friends. Right? Yeah. Like, there's definitely a darker element to it. Like I do have a dark sense of humour, but I do turn it up a wee notch for on stage. And like I said, most of the time I'll just write what makes me laugh. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah, so if I write what makes me laugh, I'm like, well, surely at least a few other people find this funny. Like there's some of my jokes, like it is a range. It's not like a Jimmy Carr where every joke is about rape. Yeah. It's like have you seen his latest special?
I actually haven't. No, it's on the list.
Yeah, so it's like it's
his most offensive stuff, isn't it? Is that what his brand is?
Yeah, it's a lot like it probably. I think he has sort of put it out as like one of his most offensive. Like, and it's some of it's good, but some of it's just like dark for the sake of being dark. Like, it's not like I don't. Here's me like fucking reviewing Jimmy Carr. You know,
Jimmy, you can do this, and this.
But like it's I feel when it comes to jokes and you're touching on the darker subjects, you have to be smart about it. Like you can't just talk about like whether it's religion or sexuality or all that sort of stuff. Like it's unless you're smart about it, it just comes across so badly. Like I feel like most of my jokes. I wouldn't say my jokes are offensive.
No, I wouldn't say jokes are offensive either.
I would say there's some dark ones, but not. Whereas I think with some of the like Jimmy Carr style, some people I imagine there's less people would be triggered by my set than his.
I think, but the thing that helps is like Jimmy's obviously got the audience he has, and he's so popular. Exactly. The size that he is, like he gets away with it. But you could only imagine him going into like an open mic night and coming out of that, like he'd be fucking tormented.
Oh yeah, like if one of us went and just did his set in Belfast, you'd be absolutely mauled.
Yeah, yeah. You're not getting that because I actually seen he does the structure of like whenever he's prepping a show, he just does like you know, what do you call them things? Oh, my knowledge is so bad with these things. Does like a work in progress show and sells the tickets really cheap, and that's how he does it. He says he doesn't really turn around and do open mics and stuff like that. He just does that. And he goes, that's such a safe place to try your material to your fans at cheap tickets. That's a lovely position to be in.
If you could do that, that's fantastic. Like, it's like we all sort of dream of getting to that level where everyone who's at your show is there to see you.
Yeah.
Like that, and then you can sort of, because then you'll know like, oh well, in the past I've done this, so they're going to find this funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that I kind of have a bit of a broad range. It's not just all the dark shit. Some of it is just like, whether it's wordplay or dad jokes, that sort of
simple. Like it seems simple, but like it's just it's quirky. I call them like quirky jokes. Like they're just sort of like, you know, not doing anybody any harm.
Yeah,
it's probably a nice way to put it.
Yeah, no, there's a wee bit of everything like that.
So I'm interested to find out then, because you said when you first started, you weren't doing one-liners.
No, I was trying to do bits and things like, but it just wasn't.
So what flipped the switch to be like one-liners? Because I couldn't think of anything worse than trying to sit down and write a one-liner. I have nothing in my head. Like I'm just not that way inclined.
I'd always watched one-liner comedians, but like seeing Sean McAleavey as well. Like Sean McAleavey is one of my favourite comedians. Like
he's one I have not seen yet.
Yeah,
I can't. Yeah, fantastic. Can't believe I haven't crossed paths yet. But
no, Sean's fantastic. Like I've known a lot of his boys for years. Like from going to gigs, and like I know some of them through friends and things like that. So I remember watching Sean one time not thinking, oh, I could do that. Just I want to try that. Yeah. And then just started writing. I already had like a couple of one-liners, but I'm thinking, right, I want to try and just do this.
What's the process of coming up with a one-liner? Like I can't even can't get my head to stay where I can think of where you even come up with something, because what happens to me is I'll see something or something fucking weird popping in head. There's a bit in that, or there's something to that. But with a one-liner, it just seems plucked out of thin air. No,
it is in a way. So sometimes I'll literally use like a random word generator.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I'll one line and get just maybe pick 10 words and then just try and write a joke from that. Like one of the darkest jokes I do is a joke about my brother who doesn't exist. And that all came from the word cabbage.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was literally it was the word cabbage, and then I'll kind of I don't know.
You don't have to do the bit.
I'll not do the bit, but the whole premise of the joke is about cabbage, and then my thought process went cabbage. Right, cabbage is a vegetable. What's also a vegetable? People in comas, they're vegetables. And then this whole bit came about, and my brother was in a coma, which doesn't sound that funny, but
no, but whenever you like
hear the bit, it's broken down.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But like whenever you actually whenever you explain it like that, you go cabbage and then word association, what else, and then you sort of there's a structure to it. Like you can almost break it down into separate elements of how that joke was even like born, or like how it was created, which is that's really interesting.
I have a clip somewhere of the very first time I told that. I was in the chicken box in Derry.
Yeah.
And I recorded with phone, and the reaction from one guy in particular is just it's just fantastic. Like his reaction is just and that's what I like.
Yeah, and then the other thing with like your side of comedy too, like the dark and one-liner stuff especially, is that like, are you getting a reaction or do people find it funny? I find that's a big part of it. Like, are they going ooh, or are they going like ooh and then laughing into it? Is it like a shocking statement or is it funny? I think there's there actually isn't a fine line. There's a pretty thick line there of what you're achieving.
You have to for me, like the perfect joke gets both.
Yeah.
So the perfect joke definitely gets both. So it's and then there's the laugh. Like I love a joke where the setup shocks people, and then the punchline makes them laugh.
Yeah.
So like I did a bit that I don't. I guess the clip's on my Instagram because I'm not doing it anymore. But I did a joke about the guy in Liverpool who blew himself up. So I did a bit about that, and the opening line was, so a man in Liverpool paid for a taxi to blow himself up. And I did that, and I gave it a good pause because I love the silence.
Yeah.
This was in the line I did it, and that setup, I heard a girl in the front row just literally go, "Oh shit, where's you going with this?" And that's the perfect reaction. And then the punchline was, what was it? I should know my own jokes. But the punchline was something on the lines of, you gotta appreciate people spending local.
Oh yeah.
So there's something like that. Didn't really do justice there, but yeah, it's that reaction. So if you get a shock and then a laugh, because if you get the laugh, then you know that's people feeling comfortable again.
Yeah, exactly. Because you almost build up that tension in the room, and then you just let everything go again, and then it's so interesting. Are you one of these people that like I've met like all the variety of comics? You mean it's so mental. Like, are you one of these people that like studies like comedy or like techniques in comedy, or are you just sort of like I just go for this, or what way do you approach it?
In a way, like I would definitely read books and things about like writing and stuff like that, and then take on on board.
Yeah. So you think you're an expert, huh?
No. But yeah, no, I'm terrible for just retaining information.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good advertisement for a one-liner comedian. It's really not. But I am terrible. Like, so I will read books. Like, I'll try and make notes and things sometimes. And now because I've got obviously like show coming up, I need to be able to try and remember 100 jokes. Yeah, which is mental. I'll probably have to maybe put them on stage. But even that, I don't like that. No, because then that's it's basically like a crutch, and you want to lean on it. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to read it, and I've done it before where I've set my notes on stage, and it's just too tempting. Yeah, to have and sometimes you do, especially when you're doing like just sort of like 10-minute open spots. It's all right, look at your notes. Like, it's not and that was the big thing back in the day as well. Like, I used to feel like it was that I'd look amateur if I was looking at my notes. Yeah, and people would think I was shit. But it's like, well, rather that than just forget everything. Yeah, that's happened to me. Yeah, it's happened to me whenever that second every day I just completely forgot, and then I didn't bring any notes with me because I was like, I didn't even bring them with me, like in the back pocket on the stage. It's just like I don't want to look amateur by bringing notes. Little did I fucking know that when you draw a blank, there's nowhere to go. Yeah. And you have 5 minutes left, and you're like, fuck. It's just made up a random story and died on hold for the last 5 minutes. Like, well, we're never doing that again. But what I've found now is like I do take it like very not professional on the level that we're like, you know, I be prepared. Yeah. Try to be as prepared as I possibly can, but in the event where you do forget or like you miss a beat, because I find now that I've got a bit of a set where I'm comfortable with, and I know. But if you miss one beat of it can throw the whole thing off. Miss one bit, you're like, oh fuck, and then you're trying to scramble through. Yeah. But what I found now is if I go up and take the professionalism of actually learning your fucking script and know what you're saying, but also combine the fact that you're there for a good time, as well as the audience, that's what's really helped me. Because about I'd say 2 or 3 gigs in since the pandemic, I started being like, this is so professional, you need to be professional, and I wasn't having fun. Do you know, like, you weren't enjoying it as much. I was too strict and too strict on yourself. Yeah, well, I think you talked about it in one of your vlogs where about breathing. Yeah, literally forgot to breathe. I've gotten into the habit now of I'll disappear a minute or two before I'm set and just go at the back and take about 10 breaths and then go, and then that resets me. As much as I look like a serial killer at the back of the pub with all the smoke, I'm just breathing in bad air. I'm just breathing in like secondhand smoke in the back of the pub. I'm like, I feel calm now. Yeah, it's just a mixture of tobacco and weed. I've never smoked in my life. I'm just like, this is actually doing something for me. Yeah. Maybe I should start something. But I've now turned into a stage where like I'll go on, and I think there was one night in the pub I completely forgot, and instead of just having fun, I was like, this next bit's so funny I had to write it down and can't remember it. And then the crowd really loved it. I think I was there then. Yeah, the crowd really loved it, and I was just like, yeah, there we go, this is what we're talking about. Have a bit more fun with it instead of fun professional. And as you say about the whole breathing side of it, that was one thing. Like, I used to just rush through the sets. Yeah. Like, properly rush through the set, and it was just nerves. Like, I think it's one of my biggest strengths now, which has taken me a long time to get to, is embracing the silence. Yeah, 100%. You really have to, even if you don't get laughs, still embrace. Like, I've been able to get laughs from silence. Like, if you just give it long, like not too long, there is a fine line between embracing the silence and awkward silence. Yeah. looking like you don't know what you're doing or can't remember your next bit. But I think being able to do that is such a. I think it works for my style because I'm such a sort of deadpan comedian. Yeah. Like, it does. What a generous way to put it. It's for some people who maybe are a bit higher energy, maybe it's harder to pause. No, it definitely is. But like, I remember I was talking to someone, I can't remember who it was, but said, this must sound ridiculous, but you can't go slow enough. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Person that has 10 plus years experience. Yeah. And it's just like, there's value in the silence, as you were saying. Like, there's value in silence, and there's value in taking your time to get somewhere, and not just
blasting through a joke.
Blurt
Like
it out.
take like literally as you said, take the quality over the quantity. Like
Yeah, no, definitely it is. Like, it's one of those things, but it comes with time.
Yeah.
And it's like what do you say, 8 gigs since you started.
mm-hmm.
Like it could take the 80 gigs before you're like, right, this is the style
Mm-hmm.
that I want to get to. Like I still don't know if this is the style I want to for
Even just come down to like the suit element of it, because we'll have to touch on the suit element of it. Like, because whenever in the past, like, why do you wear a suit? And the answer is so simple and brilliant.
Yeah, the answer is I work in a suit shop.
Like, it's just like, oh, that's not one. It's very practical, and two, probably have the resources to actually wear a suit on stage.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not having to go and buy suits all the time.
Because I was like, that's a good look,
Yeah,
but I don't think I could afford that.
I mean, it would be if I didn't work in the suit shop. Like if I quit my job in the suit shop, like
You'd have to maybe reconsider.
I would probably just start wearing my suits until they were done. So eventually, in 3 years' time, it's just go in his shit suit.
Just hope you've built it to a stage where you can, like, the comedy career's affording the suits now. It's like,
exactly. Yeah.
got to the stage like, I'll just wear the suit every night.
Well, it all kind of it stems back a good few years though, like before I even done it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd recorded like a couple of the like Mike McGoldrick videos like years ago with Shane. I remember he saying to me that we were talking about comedy, like old school comedians and things, and he was saying there should be a guy who just wears a suit and tells one-liners.
Yeah.
And it always stuck with me because that's old school comedy. Like that's sort of 70s, 80s. That's what comedians did. They just come out in their suit, and most of them are probably smoking and drinking and that sort of thing. Like, and that stuck me. And then, as I said earlier, like seeing Sean McAleavey and thinking, right, I want to write one-liners, and then started working in the suit shop in 2018. Get back into comedy. It's like, right, well, I'm just going to combine them.
Yeah. And then if that's not enough, wearing a suit and telling one-liners, is a glass of whiskey you bring with you as well?
Always a glass.
A glass of whiskey, like,
Always a whiskey.
just to absolutely complete the full look.
Yeah,
Was that like a thing? Just like I just enjoy drinking whiskey, or is that like these two go hand in hand?
Oh no, I'm just a really bad alcoholic.
All right.
No, I do like a whiskey, and I do think I've done it a couple of times. It wasn't actually planned. I think I just did it one night, and I did it with a glass of wine one night as well. I think maybe the last time I did McCooey's, I think I had a glass of red wine instead.
It helps whenever it's bring your own down McCooey's. That you bring your own stuff, and you're just like,
I don't know how that's going to go because I'm there at the end of January. It's possibly got me just a bottle of whiskey. So that's the thing. So I started to bring my own whiskey to gigs.
For fuck's sake.
Even bars. And I don't want to have to be buying whiskey because you pay $4 or £5 for literally that much of whiskey, and then they buck a load of ice into it and ruin it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, I'm going to start bringing my own whiskey. And then I was like, my measures are insane.
At first, that is one thing I noticed. Like, there's a lot of fucking whiskey in that glass.
Yeah. So that's how you know I've poured it myself.
So for future reference, just if you see it, we measure at the bottom, like, oh, right, okay. He's treating himself tonight. He's treating himself to a wee bar one night. What will be your whiskey of choice? What do you go for?
I like a Black Bush.
No, lovely.
Big fan of Bushmills. I love the Black Bush, but I'll drink most things as long as it's not Jack Daniels.
Oh, really?
No, I don't like that.
No, piss.
No, it's shit, American. It's just American shit. Yeah.
It's one of those things I've always wanted to get into drinking whiskey, but it's like I've never been blocked enough to actually give it a go. Because sober, I'm like, I don't know, smells and stuff. I don't know, I'm just like, ugh. But because I've recently got like, I can be quite particular when I drink. Like I drink a lot. Like Guinness will be my go-to now. Over Christmas, Ashton, my girlfriend, bought me one of them. Like it's like a surgery cap you put on top of the Guinness. You can have a pint at home. Right. As a result, every member of my family bought me crates of surgery tins. So I must have about 50 tins literally sitting in the kitchen, like ready to rock. But I'm like, it's time maybe to venture out. Let's try something else.
Yeah, but I think there's a big thing now. It's like it's cool to drink Guinness.
Oh, it is. It's so cool to drink Guinness. Like
it's such a drinking a pint isn't cool anymore.
No.
You have to be drinking. Like I think a whiskey's cool.
The whiskies are very cool. That's why I'm sort of leaning towards it. Like,
so I would move on to whiskey. Gin's not cool anymore.
No.
Gin was cool for a while.
No. Gin with like all. I remember girls as well getting all like the fruits and all that and like the big goblin sort of things. That was.
But that's for people who don't like gin.
Yeah, that's exactly
that's exactly what it is. Like it's gin for people who don't like gin. It's like here's the gin and here's a fucking fruit bowl in with it. Let's just stir it together and then add more fruit on top.
It's like just bon appetit, get that down.
Yeah.
Get that down, you agree. I'm trying to think, because it is sort of like you're sort of right when you're saying like there's cool drinks now and there's just not cool drinks now.
Yeah.
Like whiskey, Guinness. I'm trying to think what else is cool to drink.
Or craft beer's cool.
Oh, fuck
I'm not
me.
Sure.
No, I'm not a craft beer guy.
See, I like a craft beer, but I don't. think it's cool anymore. I think there was a very small phase of our but I think it's a bit pretentious.
In what way?
I think a lot of people who drink craft beer are a bit like sort of vegans, where it's like you have to tell people.
Yeah.
Like I have to. It's like I only drink
And now I feel like there was craft beers and like Brewdog, and now there's like a whole new like wave of craft beer. Like you shouldn't hear of the craft beer I'm drinking. Like the like more obscure your craft beer is, the more it's like cool. I think that's what it's going towards now.
It's like this was made in a fucking watering can in my back garden, and it's been aging for 6 months.
But like I don't know. And then the other thing is like the other drink I would drink would be vodka, and I think vodka is just, it's a destination drink really. I don't think anyone really sits down.
If you're heading out for a fight.
Yeah, like there's
destination.
no one that sits down and goes, I'm really enjoying this vodka, unless you're like an upper class drinker, maybe you're Grey Goose and your Belvedere's. That's a different level altogether again.
Yeah, but then do you mix? Because if I mix the Grey Goose, like that seems like it's defeating the purpose. Like if I don't know how much does Grey Goose cost, I have no idea.
Like a 10 glass probably like in 30s, 40 quid. Like
to then mix that is just insane.
Take that and then put in like Spars free 7-Up or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You're like, what the fuck's going on here?
15p lemonade.
That actually sums up the modern world pretty accurately. Like it's like the guy that has like the Lamborghini and sticks like a 10-hour diesel on it. It's like one of those analogies. Like
he only drives with those shopping bags.
Yeah, that's another one of those. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Drinking's almost become sort of like a bougie thing. Like even with like cocktails and all this here stuff as well. It's sort of, I'm not a big cocktail person.
No, me neither. I think it is just it's too much. And why does it take them so long to make them?
Yeah. And if there's one thing comedians can appreciate, cocktails at a comedy show is not the fucking recipe for success. Rattling and shaking and
no, that happened to me in a gig in Warren Point last year.
Was it the Duke?
Yeah.
It does like trees of cocktails.
That's what it was. That's literally what it was. This guy was bringing a tree to the front row, and they were properly. I don't know what he was doing. He was like presenting each drink or something, but they were like talking way too much. And it was the same. This was I was gigging. Jordan Robinson was on just before me, I think, and he had just got back from a wedding and gave me his pocket watch, and I had a suit and the pocket watch. And I just literally, whenever they were doing, I just got the pocket watch. I just went, and it was just cocktail. I'm not a big. I like a cocktail, but I don't like the fact that it costs £10-15 and it takes way too long to make.
I do that thing where like if I'm out for like dinner or drink something with Alison, and it's like, so what are you having? And then she'd be like, oh, I don't know. And she sometimes go for a beer. I'm like, well, like when you go for a beer, and then sometimes she'd go like, I'll go for a cocktail. And I go, guess I'm having a cheap beer then. Okay. Whatever she has completely dictates what I'm having. You either both drink beer tonight and have a good time, or you drink cocktail and I'll miserably sit on a bottle over here try and save some money over here. Yeah. There was one place I remember we went and it was like, I'm not even shitting, I think it was like 14 quid for a cocktail, and I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna drink tonight. I can't justify this.
If that drink doesn't get me hammered immediately.
But cocktails don't, I find. I've never got drunk off cocktails. Unless it's like...
That's because we can't afford to.
Yeah. Right enough. Once you have to, like, you're not going to... You would go out with 20 quid, like, you're not going to get very far. Like,
so you get a cocktail and then a taxi home.
Unless you're in, like... Do you know if you ever go to, like, Spain or in mad countries and, like, they're doing their cocktails and it's proper, like, 50% alcohol, 50%, like, whatever the fuck juice they put in it, like... That's my kind of cocktail.
Yeah, and you're not paying, like... Stupid money for it. But no, it's best. Like, I was even talking about earlier, like, the whiskies and stuff. It's like... Paying like a 4 or 5 quid for literally a dribble, a dribble of alcohol.
I do what I hate and so miserable. Do you know like do the measures of it and it comes in that bubble, the bubble and they push it up, and like I'm just like, that is the whoever decided that was the measurement is fucking miserable. Like we could have done so like this is a country of drinkers. We are in here like. You go to other countries and they're just doing it by hand and just looking whatever.
And they said ask you to say when.
Yeah, literally, you're more sitting there looking at this bubble to see if it's empty. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, it's not. No, it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. That's the real. No. That's
measures.
Yeah. What the fuck's going on here? We need to start to address this. Never mind all the other bullshit to talk about.
Let's start a petition. How many do you need before they start talking about it? It's 100,000.
Is it 100,000? I feel like it couldn't be that high for Northern Ireland. Maybe like 10,000.
Oh, for here maybe.
It could be a lot lower. I feel like we could get it to Parliament.
I think so. There we go. Like someone out there, whoever's listening, they can do it. We're too busy.
Well, here, fucking Parliament love. If the one thing they love, it's a party.
True.
Something tells me in the 10 Downing Street party there wasn't 10 bubbles. Imagine. But bring your own, actually. So there you go.
We had it, so I obviously work in the shoot shop. Well, no, I can't mention the person by name, but we have a very sort of well-known politician in work, and I'll tell you off air.
Yeah.
Was in buying something from the shop, and I actually said it was after one of Boris's parties, and thankfully took it very well, but I just could not stop myself.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get that issue, you're just like, I have to say it. I have to say it. What did you make of the whole Boris party? Sorry, not party, I don't know what
party,
it was.
not party, yeah.
Was it party?
Cheese and wine work related.
Yes.
Party, not party.
With drinks, not a party.
With a suitcase of drinks.
Yes.
But it's work, purely just work.
Yeah.
With a suitcase of drinks. Suitcase of wine as well, like that's a lot of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on how big a suitcase is. Like,
I'm sure.
if it's just a carry on, like
true.
That's all a few, like.
A couple of duty-free bags, like.
Yeah, I would have loved that. I would have loved to be in the off license. Like, who's coming in and just. It's like, do you want a bag? It's like, no, I've got one.
Yeah, a suitcase.
I've literally got a suitcase. No.
But you couldn't imagine getting into Downing Street, like, do you know they're not checking bags? They like opens it, goes, what's in there? And it's like rattling around, goes, go on ahead.
Go for it, yeah. Because that person was probably invited.
Yeah, right.
Let's be honest. Like, it's like, take a bottle. It's mad. Like, they must be shit crack as well. They were like, because if you look at them, they all look bored as hell. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that's a fun. There's that video going about as well. Boris Johnson on the dance floor. And
Yeah. That's just tragic, isn't it?
Is that a woman with a lightsaber as well? What the hell is going on there? Like, that's the worst Star Wars I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's the worst cosplay I've ever seen in my life.
That's just. That's not an ad for Comic Con, like, is it? No. But yeah, no, it's mad. Like, it's really hard not to take a piss out of them. Like, it's good for us, like, because
it's gold.
So much material to be able to, like, to be able to do it. But it's like, then how long can you do it for? It's like, well, they keep fucking shit up.
Oh, there'll be something worse in 6 months' time. Like, not even give it 6 months. 3 months' time, there'll be something way worse coming out. Like,
yeah, well, that's it. It's taken that long because that was 2020.
Yeah.
It's taken over like nearly a year for it to actually.
These are just ones we know about.
Yeah, that's true. There's the underground ones that have maybe happened.
I love to think about, like, do you know there's that woman that's meant to be investigating the whole situation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that a job? How does she land? Like, what? It's like, can you investigate whether or not this was or was not a party? And she's like, are you what? Is this serious?
How is she actually doing that? Is she just going up to people and being like, oh, we had that thing last year, and then they're going, oh, the party, yes,
the party, arrest him.
you're gone.
Get him, boys.
That's it.
But like, I don't know. I actually find this. I know, like, there's like a real tragedy side to it, but from like the comedic standpoint, like, it is just hilarious how, like,
ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, how, like, you couldn't, if you wrote this in a book and like selling it as like a fiction book, people just think that's just ridiculous. Like, that would never.
Oh yeah, it's like from a comedy series, like a sketch.
It is a pure spoof.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm trying to think of different political comedy series and can think of one, but yeah, that's where it is just absolutely insane. But sure, reality is always worse than.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anything you can write, because they're just mad and do not give a shit. Like,
I would love to see like when, I don't know what will happen with Boris in the line. I'm not that great into politics, but like I would love to see like a Wolf of Wall Street type film based on his time in 10 Downing Street. Like, I can just picture that scene as like, was any of this legal? Absolutely fucking not. No. Him having like the real parties that were going on when he gets out. Like, I know he's trying to hold on to his job for dear life, but I reckon like when he comes out of the job eventually, like, it'll be fucking that. If this is what he's doing in the job,
oh yeah,
the scenes of when he comes out of it, it'll be madness.
Oh, but it's even before him then. Sure, there's no like I know Boris from Have I Got News for You.
Oh fuck me!
That's why I first seen him. I was like, who is this absolute idiot?
Yeah.
So that's why I first seen him. Then there's all the clips online, like whenever he's the mayor of London and like coming down the zip line, the Jackson's like. Jesus, and then rugby tackling there's the child, but there's the one the charity football match. Yeah, we just wipes the guy out. It's like this guy shouldn't be in charge of himself.
Yeah.
Let alone the country. Like.
I just love how like any other job, well, no matter what job it is, like I work as a lifeguard is my like other job is like my job. Believe it or not, this is not my full time.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah, we will touch on that. It's I'm actually everyone that I work with be like you have to because the place is so hilariously hilarious and like the things happen thing. It's like my first special, like if I did a special show, I'd love to call it Baywatch, but we'll get down to that. We'll get down to that later on down the line. But yeah, like if I was any other job, no matter what to do, where you sell suits or go fucking start a swim pool and do nothing all day, like if you went in and started drinking mid shift, how you would obtain like how that would go down with HR would be fucking hilarious.
No, that's it. I mean, my work doesn't even have an HR, so.
Well, yeah, there you go then.
I think you just maybe
straight out the door.
Probably, yeah, unless you shared.
maybe
that's what happened down Downing Street.
It's just it was one person that didn't get invited. If they invited like 101, whoever this one person was that didn't get invited, yeah, someone's just not happy. I love the person that's leaking this. Whoever's doing it is an absolute fucking genius.
I wonder were they actually were they just not invited? Because was it not like 100 people invited and like 30 turned up?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Yeah.
But there must have been someone who wasn't invited. I mean, I don't know if it's went in their junk mail or they actually just didn't like them. Like it was
just sink the whole establishment.
Yeah, like just taking everybody down with me. Like, so.
I love that. I just love the bitterness of it. Just how sour this one person must be. It's like, you know what, gonna just wreck the whole establishment. Like, love it, absolutely love it. But yeah, enough on bars and all their brutalities because fuck a lot of them is.
What's the lifeguard? Have you ever saved anyone?
Yes.
Have you had like?
I have saved someone. I've saved a child. Which is up there with the likes of saving a puppy in my eyes. You know, quite heroic, quite noble. If I do say so myself. But like, see, as my job, like, see, working as like a lifeguard in a swim pool, nothing happens. It's not like Baywatch. There's no slow motion. There's no Pamela Andersons.
No.
It's really. If someone starts running, you're like, stop running. That's what we're dealing with. Like,
there's just one child who almost drowned.
There was one child who almost drowned, and it was so funny because like you obviously do your training and you're like prepared, you're prepared to like do whatever, but it's only whenever it like kicks in, it's like fight or flight. And I didn't even realise what happened at the time, but like looking back and it's so funny. So basically I was sitting, so you have like most swim pools, the standard out is you have a shallow end and a deep end, and gradually gets deeper. This wee girl, it's about, I don't know, 7 or something, and she just sort of started going on the ramp, going the way down and couldn't have the strength to pull herself back up, couldn't swim. And fun fact for people who don't know this, when people are drowning, they don't typically say anything. They like Joe just go up and down sort of in the water.
Drowning.
Yeah, so
that would be useful.
Yeah, or even just a bit of a splash or something. They literally just go for nonsense or straight up, straight down.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it kid? No, this is nothing like this has ever happened before.
You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and the other thing we always do with is just a fun game people like to play in the pool called Let's Pretend I'm Dead, with a life face down in the water.
Oh yeah.
All you and all your friends have done it at home. I know you have.
I just did the bath sometimes. It's my girlfriend.
She walks in like, got you. But yeah, people love to do that, and like you proper shit yourself when you see that because face down water typically means like a spinal injury or something like that. And you're like, oh my, how has this happened? How long was I asleep for? I've seen this.
But when you're ever having like quiet days, do you not kind of, when you're seeing someone sort of going to the deep end, you're not kind of hoping like a wee bit? They're not parties like.
As I still work there, I would say I would never do that. But there is times where I've been there, I was like, let's see how this plays out. Because I can get about 2 hours of no work if I have to get in and get this person. Like,
and there must be some, like, you must get some awful kids as well. Like.
Do you know what it is? Kids aren't the worst. Parents are the worst. Because their kid can't do no wrong. And like, you would not believe how bad some parents can not supervise their children in a huge body of water.
Yeah, and water is scary. Like.
Oh, it's terrifying. Like I've seen kids jump into water 2 meters deep, parents standing beside them, and kids start drowning, and they're like, oh, well, like, I didn't realise it was that deep there. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You've walked the whole way down, there's signs everywhere, it's clearly deeper, like,
it's a swim pool.
Yeah, it's a swim pool, like, what do you expect? And then they'd be like, well, I can't swim either, and I'm like, you don't know how to swim, your child definitely doesn't know how to swim. It's a funny job, and the fact that it's a council building too just adds to the hilarious.
Would it not be more fun though? Because I know, as you say, like, I haven't been in swim pool years, but obviously it's a slope, like it's gradual. Would it not be more fun if it was just a drop?
Yeah, there is pools like that. There's some pools you go straight and it just goes 2 meters, 2 meters down.
Because that would teach a lot of people a lesson, but also you'd get to do things.
Yeah, exactly. So, because like you go in, like, I know I'm going in the first shift later on, and you're just like, nothing's going.
You'd be so much
You get paid,
better.
you do just get paid to sit there, but it's in the eventuality that something might happen and you're needed is like where you're called upon. But the only thing we get ever is we have like a flume slide in the building, and the only question you ever get is the slide open, to which it's never open because we're short staffed. So that's all day. All you guys, is that slide going to open? You're just like, no.
You just need to go stand on the side of your head and know the slide's
Yeah. Instead of lifeguard in the back of our house, we should just get the slide will not be open. Yeah. Would save a lot of issues. Yeah. But it's one of those jobs where like I'll have to talk about it more whenever I actually sit down and write stuff about it, because the stuff that happens on a daily basis, and because it's run by council, it's fucking hard. I can say that now because I'm in the last 12 weeks of my university degree and will now be looking for grad jobs, which is a whole bundle of fun itself.
Wow.
Applying for jobs. Jesus Christ.
You won't be saving people like every 2 years.
Because the funny one is, when I was going facing you, like, give me an example of team working. And I've worked in the pool since I was like 16, so it's the only job I have real experience in. I was like, well, there was just one time I saved someone's life. As part of the team, like, we were just talking generally for about the HR function. But I'm a hero. Yeah, but I was like, I'm a hero and I've worked in a team to save lives. What have you done? But it's an interesting one. It's a really interesting one. But it's the fact that like in like a pool environment, it's like your job, you're just really a killer crack. That's what my job is. Because what you do is you just prevent people from drowning. Be like, look, don't go down and swim there because you're going to drown. And they're like, well, you're not letting me have any fun today. I'm like, would you rather be dead?
Did you ever like put it on your CVs like that you stop people from bombing?
That ties in nicely with my YouTube series, This Might Bomb. Yeah. Which, as a whole subsection, thinking back on the title of that series and the country we live in was not the best idea. Especially when I was doing a gig, I was episode when I was in Noma, and I was like, we're not going with the title. No, didn't put it in. I was like, welcome back to the vlog. We're in Noma for this. This episode, yes. Yeah. And a lot of people too, you sort of forget because you sort of get wrapped up in the niche of how small sort of comedy and how well people know comedy is. The term bomb is well known by the likes of you and me. And But when you go to the general person goes, oh, absolutely bombed, like, what does that mean?
Yeah. I know that's it. Back in the 70s, you could, if you went to your mates, been like totally bombed this weekend. I mean, it depended on who your mates were. Some of them would be high fiving it, some of them would not.
Well, looking back, I'm glad I didn't rename it something else because I think it actually ties in quite nice. There's a bit of a pun in that itself. I think.
No, it works. No, it works. No, it works very well.
And it's fun. I've actually noticed quite a few people started vlogs now as well. There's a couple of people now getting the vlogs going.
I thought about it, but I don't know. I'm just
not for you, no.
I don't think so. No, I'm when it comes to sort of comedy and things, I kind of think too much when it comes to
what do you mean?
Sort of side, but like everything I do, I like it to be planned. I like.
You like being in control more so.
Yeah, I know I did. Like I'd started the podcast during the lockdown. I am gonna bring it back eventually. Like
I wasn't meant to ask you where is the podcast going.
Yeah, once I started gigging again, I just didn't have the time.
It sort of happened to everyone, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, it's just there's too many gigs going on, and that sort of took a backseat. But yeah, no, I'll bring it back and started really well. That's good guests and all. It was, I think they're still up there. Like it's the Sane Asylum. If anyone wants to check it out, and they'll be coming back soon and be interviewing some people. So the sort of aim of it was to do one part comedy, one part mental health, because I know a lot about comedy and nothing about mental health.
Yeah, you may as well learn something.
So it was like, let's have a chat about it. An important subject, but one I know nothing about.
Yeah.
But it was good. The whole thing of it was like what keeps you sane and what drives you insane. And the what drives you insane was like the funny part of it. Was like just
what sort of stuff drives you sane and insane, John?
Well, what keeps me sane is definitely comedy. Comedy keeps me sane. Like being able to gig and stuff keeps me sane, but also drives me insane is comedy. Yeah. I'm doing all that insane.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. I both love and hate it at the same time. It is one of those. It's one of those things. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like because going up to gigs, like I get I don't know about you, but I get really nervous. Like
I get a thing, and this is crazy for some people, but I get a thing where I just, no matter how many times I've done a dump that day, I will continuously need to take a shit up until the moment I get on stage.
Oh yeah. Or
just use the bathroom in some facility. I'm just like, God damn it! But I know there's nothing wrong. It's like it's just pure nerves. Oh yeah. But I find I'm quite good at sort of bottling it down out of here, but it just sinks into my body. Then I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
No, I get really bad. Like I never should. Like I never look like I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's a skill or just something I've developed. But I never, which works well when I'm on stage. Like, but there's times when I'm up there and I feel like I'm shaking from head to toe. Like.
But do you think there's anybody that does stand-up comedy that's getting up there and just doesn't feel anything nerve-wise?
I don't think so, and I think the ones that do say that are talking shit.
Yeah, like I feel like you have to have a bit of like anxiety going on to the stage to get the full, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I probably I actually use I take Rescue Remedy before I go.
You take what?
It's called Rescue Remedy.
What's that?
I'm not sponsored by them. Like,
Yeah.
I always keep a bottle of the suit, and it's literally calms you down. Like,
Oh, it's just like a spray and it just sort of
it's
chills you.
It's literally just a spray, and it just calms you down. Like.
What the hell?
Like whenever I did.
Is this like a medically proven thing, or is this like?
Oh no, I just got it. The guy off the.
yeah. Is this readily
I
available?
was like taking a shit beside him in the toilet in Victoria Square. He's like, there's a fiver. And like, there we go.
You never look back.
No, it's the same bottle. No, it is medically proven.
Yeah.
It's like all natural shit. Like, but it really helps. Like, it calms me down like instantly.
That's the thing. I think like everyone needs like their wee like, not even pre-ritual, just something like a wee routine and get themselves into it before going on stage and sort of like chill yourself out, calm yourself down. As I said, like my 10 breaths, like just really helps me to slow down and just prepare what I'm gonna do. If you know what I mean? Because it can be all go when you go to some of these comedy things. Like, you know, people come on stage, everyone's laughing, the momentum, everything's fast paced, and then next thing you got, and you're like, hello.
No shit. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's one of those things. Especially like the bigger gigs sometimes are just terrifying. Like I made my Empire debut in December. December. So it's the first time I'd ever done the Empire. Like I don't think I'd ever been more nervous before a gig.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That was the big one.
That was the big one.
It sort of is in Belfast though, like the one in terms of regular spots. Unless you're supporting someone, like that is in my eyes like one of the biggest rooms you can do, probably the biggest room on a weekly basis.
It's one of those ones. It's kind of it was a bucket list gig pretty much like, and I was on with Colin Murphy. He was genuinely one of my comedy heroes. Like I've got one of his DVDs. I've got one of his DVDs. Obviously.
But when you met him, were you like, have your DVD, or were you trying to play a cool like him?
I know that's what because my girlfriend came to watch him beforehand. I was like, I didn't want to just walk in and go, "Hi, Colin, have you come as well?"
Big funny work. But you do have that inside you.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I just walked in, but alright, Colin, how's it going?
Yeah.
Johnny, nice to meet you. When you got in my head, just a rescue remedy, probably.
Yeah. So tell me how much of your rescue remedy do you have for supporting Shane? Because that was obviously that's probably the biggest you've done, is it?
Biggest room, the one out of the waterfront. Yeah. Oh no, loads. I was probably like I was just doing shots backstage. No, like loads. But I was just like Buzz, William Thompson, and Dave Elliott were backstage as well. Like they were standing there, and I was just pacing up and down. Like.
How does that come about? Because like, I don't suppose you were like sort of expecting at some stage for someone to approach you and be like, "Do you want to support me on my show?" It was just when I did it like just.
Oh no, I think he asked me like the week before.
Oh, did he?
I had a week to prepare. Yeah.
You bastards!
Yeah.
Like, you're just sitting there like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." Like just.
He's like, how he actually met you. So he texted me actually, and the words were, "How confident would you be doing the waterfront?"
That is an awful statement.
I was like,
confidence 0.
Yeah, I was like, no, not confident. I'll do it, but I'll not be confident.
Yeah.
I'll be nervous as hell. But yeah, it was in terms of gigs last year. Like I say, I was more nervous with the Empire, but the waterfront was like, it was just insane.
What's it like on like a big stage like that? Because you seem so far disconnected from the crowd in comparison to like a local, sort of smaller venue.
It's not as definitely nowhere near as intimate, but you can't see everyone. That's the thing. You're
really?
And because of the lights,
yeah,
you can only really see the front row barely, and then like a silhouette of the room.
Oh, right, okay.
So
That's a big room.
Yeah, so you can't actually see it. So for me, for example, they must have done like 30-35 jokes or something. So after each joke, you kind of have to wait. Just talking about earlier, like embracing the silence. Thankfully, there wasn't silence, but you kind of do have to pause because it has to kind of work its way around the room.
Yeah.
Because it's not something where it's just kind of where you're like we're in a room and it's instant. You get there, you do have to sort of let it sit for a bit. But in terms of reactions, probably one of the best gigs I've ever done.
Oh really? Yeah.
That I think last year, I think I haven't done like one before you or after you in Sunflower.
Same one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You went. you're at the same gig, and I think I was meant to follow you, and my exact words were, "Thank fuck they swapped me to right before you."
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Right.
that's what it was, because Jordan was organising that, and he was going to go on after Johnny, and I was like, right, okay, no problem. And I actually had a decent set that night. I was quite happy with how I
You
did.
did really well.
And then you were on, and I was like, thank fuck for that. Because there's just, I don't care who you are or what you do, there's no way you're ever competing with someone with your first gig. This is your third ever gig, you're never competing with anybody. Just full stop, end the conversation. And then for the person to go on after you and just absolutely wreck the room and be probably the standout form of the night, it's just like, well, dodge the bullet there tonight, Jordan, thanks very much for the reshuffle. But yeah, it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
No, that's very kind of you. But yeah, that was probably one of my favourite gigs last year because it's so intimate.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it.
I love that room. Like, even just as a spectator in the room, it's just such a good venue for comedy.
And you feel like you have the audience like just in the palm of your hand, like literally by the balls.
Yeah,
like the women too. Just by the balls. Just everybody. That's what I love about it.
I think we're going to end up. That's an abrupt ending, but I think we're going to start wrapping this up. Sure. So I'm just going to go through a few quick hot topics that have been going around lately, and they're mainly TV and film chat related. To wrap it up, which is kind of random, but are you a big TV and film person? Apart from DVDs of comics? Or have you been watching much?
Some.
What's the latest sort of stuff you've been watching?
Well, we're starting to watch through the Marvel films again. Like, I haven't seen them all, so we're starting to go through them in timeline order.
You're going to hit me. Never seen one. Well,
it's the same though. I've already seen any of them.
I've never seen any of them, and like I work with people that are big fans of it. I actually remember, that's how bad I am. They're talking about Marvel, and I was like, I can't remember, I got it wrong. They're talking about DC and Marvel. I think they're talking about DC, and I was like, is that the one with Iron Man? And he's like, oh, you bastard. Like, I may as well just call him a cunt to his face. I've never watched them. But that's a good one, because it's one of the ones I actually sort of want to get into, because it's not that I don't like them, it's just for some reason.
I just never watched them.
I know why, because I've grown up my whole life. I have 2 sisters and 2 cousins all the same age. So I've grown up with girls my whole life, so what just wasn't on?
I thought you were going to say I haven't watched them because I'm an adult.
Oh no. Well, yeah, that too. That too. I actually recently watched the movie. Do you know that movie that's coming out, Belfast?
Yes, the Jimmy Dornan.
The one that's not out yet.
Yes.
I got exclusive access through a friend. So through a means of ways. And yeah, TV license on, don't come there. Got exclusive access to it for the early premiere, as I like to call it. But really interesting show. So it is. Right. It's one of them ones. I think a lot of people obviously here are going to go watch it, but like it's not what I expected. It's like it's like a through the window look of Belfast by pre-Troubles. I mean the week of the Troubles beginning.
Oh, I go right, like the premiere.
So
like the red carpet with like. Like the IRA walking down it, and then the law's paramount there.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
But it's actually a good watch as well. And then I watched. Have you watched that show 14 Peaks? No, the guy who climbs all the mountains.
No,
it's wild. But it's one of those ones that's meant to really motivate you. Like this guy climbs the 14 tallest peaks in the world.
I've seen it advertised actually.
Yeah, he climbs the 14 tallest peaks in the world in like a record amount of time. But it's one of those ones. I don't know if it's my lack of ambition in life or whatever. But I just watched it. I was like, this does nothing for me.
No, see people climbing mountains. No, that doesn't really interest me either. Like, the view's great. But the view from my window's great.
Yeah, I'm a sporty person and I love sports and whatever. But see when people like achieve these massive feats in like sporting history, and it's like good for you, but I couldn't be arsed.
I'm not going to bother.
And then finally, what was the other one? Someone actually wrote in a question, and it's the only question I sort of thought it was worthwhile bringing up because the other ones were all sort of included in the podcast. Someone asked me, what is your opinion on the show The Masked Singer? Now, I don't know why the fuck that was coming on this.
I'm an expert on this subject, so I am the Masked.
You are the Masked? Yeah. You are Mr. Masked Singer?
I'm all of them.
All of the singers, like...
Spoiler alert, yeah, every one of them.
There you go, there's a whole show around for you.
I'm the shark, I'm the bumblebee, I'm the... I don't know what else do you get that show.
I was going to say, do you watch it, but it'll obviously be important, you don't have the time.
No, I've seen... I was definitely saying it. It's insane, that's what it is. It's weird as shit.
To me, it's the worst show I've probably ever seen in my life.
I don't know.
No offense, I know you star in it, but like it's a fucking interesting concept.
No, even though I'm the star, like I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, you're only for the paycheck.
Yeah.
There's no other reason why.
No,
why you do there. But Johnny, thank you so much for your time. I actually had an absolute blast for this episode. Really looking forward to the show in the limelight. The tickets will be out by the time this comes out, won't they? Yeah.
Yes, tickets are 20th of January, so they should be out.
What should people expect from the show?
Jokes. A lot of jokes.
yourself and Ian telling jokes.
Telling lots of jokes. I will have at least 99 jokes. I'm aiming for 100.
You're in for 100 jokes?
But at least 99.
Okay, that sounds, I mean, and do you know what the beauty of your jokes is, right? I know, I don't recommend stealing jokes ever, but because they're one-liners, you can just steal them all and tell your mates.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not a professional comedian, go for it.
No, do.
Because we need that.
Just quote me.
Yeah.
Quote me.
Put a reference in at the end.
Yeah.
Johnny Roll Limelight, April.
And it has to be like proper, like Harvard reference.
Yeah, no, we're not taking any fucking no citations or proper fucking reference here, folks. Like, but yeah, I think that's going to do us. So, Limelight shows come up. Anything else coming up this month or anywhere else? Plenty of gigs.
Yeah, I'm in Moy on the 27th of January. PJs. I can't remember. It's terrible. I should know. 28th, I'm in Newry.
Lovely.
That's a Saturday night gig. And 29th, I'm in Sunflower. Class. Tickets still available for all of them, I think.
I can only, again, I don't like blowing smoke at people too much, but please go watch, because it's a different, to me, it's a different style of comedy. I don't see much like that. I don't see many one-liners over here. There's a couple of guys that do it, and it's all very good. And I have to say, the standard of comedy over here, since I've started like looking and watching a lot more, is phenomenally high. And that's the reason why we were talking earlier. Like, you know, everything can sold out week after week after week, because the people that are going are continuing to go back, because the standard's good. But yeah, Johnny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to catch Johnny's suits and all of his stuff, we can find you on what social medias?
Johnny Bow Comedy on Instagram. Also Johnny Bow on Facebook. You can find me in a suit shop in Belfast as well if you need a suit or you just want to come in for a chat.
Man's living off the commission.
I wish.
Cheers, Johnny. Thanks very much. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, subscribe, do all those things, tell your friends, and give us a share. And leave us a rating, 5 stars, of course. Anything less, don't fucking care. Alright? So, cheers, Johnny, for your time. And guys, I'll see you all again in the next one. Thank you.